So for the next 10 days, we're going to be attempting to cycle across Spain on one of these guys, going from the most northern point in Bilbao all the way down to the most southern point in Tarifa. We're going to be dealing with mental breakdowns, bike breakdowns, and weather warnings, all whilst doing it for a charity called Minds. And we're taking you guys along with us. This is my bike. Now, the bike itself cost me £30 with an additional £50 for repairing the pedals, the pannier, and that thing in the middle, which I've got no idea what that is. £80 all in all for this setup. My brother yapped on for about 4 minutes here, but essentially his bike cost him £15 from the scrapyard, and after replacing his gears, chain, tyres, inner tubes and saddle, his bike cost him a total of £98. Now, it's worth noting, we have obviously done this on the cheap. We have had no experience whatsoever with cycling, and this is going to be one of the biggest challenges that we've done so far. Now, my motto in life is, if you don't plan anything, nothing can go wrong, but that could not have been further from the truth with this bike trip. Watch along, because if you are going to attempt this, please plan in advance. So we've actually started in Bilbao today, but we have started a little bit late, so I think we're going to be cycling in the dark. However, we're planning on cycling 80 kilometers today, getting there roughly around 8 or 9 o'clock, which will be like an hour into being dark. So without further ado, let's go, because before we get absolutely stabbed, because we feel like we're in a bit of a ghetto area. Dodge. Let's go! So I decided to spend a bit more money on my bike, so I won't have to like fix it as much. So I spent 30 quid on it, and basically, apart from the pedals, everything else has been pretty fine with it. So I've spent more money to buy less in the future, and it's worked out because I'm only on 80 quid. My strategy was pretty much go as cheap as possible and then save as much money as I can for faults that happen on the way. But it didn't really go according to plan, because I've got £2 left over for anything that goes wrong. Now, it's worth noting that one of our goals was to get the bikes under £100, and if you did go over the £100, you would have to pay a penalty towards the charity. Incredible. It's so nice. Some guy just passed me. You can tell who the more experienced one is. He's flown by. But I bet his bike was like 2 grand and mine's 30 quid, so. Woo! No way! Yeah! Speedy Gonzalez! Daddy's absolutely flying down the mountain. This is gorgeous. Way better! Woo! Mate, I would love to jump in that water right now. Just stopping for Danny quick, but look at these views. What, it's way smaller? Yeah, extra large. That's tiny. For continuity, I'm changing. We're not really able to film too much at the moment because we haven't got that much light left, and by the time we get to the hostel it's going to be like 9 o'clock at night, and we don't really have lights on these bikes, so we are not stopping to sightsee. As gorgeous as everything is, we just can't afford it. At this point we started worrying. We hadn't planned anything out and things started going wrong. Danny started struggling, and not before long we lost all daylight. It's just been non-stop uphill for the past, I don't know, maybe an hour. I'm a bit spaced out, so I don't really know how long it's been. I don't even know if you can see me right now, GoPro, but I'm actually shitting myself. What happened next was probably bound to happen. Danny passed out and we had to call the ambulance. His blood sugar levels were low, and so was his blood pressure. So basically last night we had to call the ambulance because Danny basically wasn't feeling very well. So we didn't film that much, but they ended up picking us up
went to the hospital, and then we've got back to the hostel here now. So the plan today is to take it a lot slower. I don't know whether or not we're going to do it in 10 days now. We're just going to chill out. We're going to fuel up, eat loads of food, and then just take like loads of like breaks along the way as well, and just go from there. So we're just loading our bikes up right now, and we were like, oh, because the guy like came and like rescued us last night, but one guy picked us up, picked our bikes up in his van, and then the other one took us to the hospital in the ambulance, and we literally just tried to give the guy like money as well, and he was like, oh, thank you so much, and he was just like, no, just get yourself views. I was like, just please take it, either you or your sister, because the sister was helping us as well with like trying to get to the next location, and they were just like super like nice, like really like generous, like the best people. So yeah, I'm just super grateful right now. Yeah, now we're just going to try to get to the next spot. One thing that was difficult was negotiating Google Maps. It would often take us down rougher terrain than our bikes could manage.
So we've been on this gravel road for probably the past 10-15 minutes. It's not very good for road bikes.
This is cool! Woo!
There's a path there.
That was so annoying. Stupid Google Maps telling us to go down the wrong way.
After finally getting off the rocky track, we were now on the road and off to a good start. Well, almost. Oh, shrew! There's a baby shrew!
Oh, hey shrew. If it's died, it's been like very recently died. Oh, must have got too hot.
Once we had cycled a few kilometres on this road, we decided to stop off and take in the views.
Should we go check this out?
We came across this old bridge, and these had to be some of the most scenic roads we'd ridden on this trip so far. We were finally finding our legs and were covering good ground. We even managed to save a praying mantis en route. However, there can always be another challenge around the next corner, especially when you're riding with Danny.
Got a puncture.
I got a puncture, did you not? Danny just called me up and said he's got a puncture. I'm going to set the drone up in the air and see if I can see him.
Take off.
I can't even see him. Oh my god,
seconds.
I can see him. He's all the way back there. He's so far away. 1,000 meters away he is.
Bob's your bloody uncle.
Ready?
Like, not just my hands, like
Everything.
my whole body.
Sí, estamos bien, gracias.
Para Burgos todo recto.
Muchas gracias, hombre. Oh my god, it's so big! Woo! Ah, bumps! This is sick! Hey, we just did 40k. Ah, buttocks, mate.
I've just stopped off and I'm covered in cobwebs. Like everywhere. It's on the bike, on the handlebars. It's a joke.
Did you go past that bit? Well, you obviously did. Were all those f***ing webs out?
Bro, I filmed it.
Millions.
And I was pulling webs off of here as well. I had it all on me. And I kept thinking like, I was like, oh, I kept thinking, because I could feel it on my back, and then I was like, ah, spiders! Before I get to the hill, I almost know what gear to put it in.
I do want to make this clear, we have no idea about cycling, or the lingo, or even what the best strategy is. Hence us talking absolute waffle. We have got to Burgos, baby.
First hostel where we're staying in, and they're accepting bikes, let's go.
This was our first night being able to explore the city, so we headed to this famous Burgos cathedral, found a restaurant, and headed back to the hostel.
Good night, second night, good night.
So guys, day 3, and we are currently in Burgos in the north of Spain, which we got to last night. Our plan is to get to a place called Torre Sandino, which has a 1-star hostel. Apparently there's like cockroaches and spiders and stuff. That's 70 kilometers away, which is what we did yesterday. But if we can get there with good time, then we might try and go further and go to a place called Aranda de Duero, and that's 100 kilometers. So that would be the furthest I've ever cycled. The second being yesterday, which is 70 kilometers.
And there's problems with Daniel Evans. So although Danny has been having problems, I have to admit this bike does have its own problems as well. Highest gear doesn't really work. So on this like 2 sets of gears, the front and the back, and my front one doesn't go to the highest. Oh, and my 2 brakes as well aren't really the best. Like I reckon if I was going to try and fully stop and there was a car 4 or 5 meters in front of me, we're colliding. Which made it extremely difficult when we had hills like these.
Woo, this is quick!
I should not be doing this with bad brakes! Brakes, 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 brakes! Then after the last 2 days of distance not being on our side, Danny finally got the gist of how to tackle hills and was even staying ahead of me. He's doing it! He's just cycling, highest gear possible. Don't know if you can see him, but he's smashing it today. This weather is absolutely perfect right now. However, I would have loved to have cycled through here when all these sunflowers were yellow. Just look at all of them on the side of the road. We then came across one of the straightest and quietest roads we had been on so far, so it's time to take it up a gear, literally. Tell you what.
He's just gonna roll away. His front high gear doesn't really work, so he just stopped to put it in. Yeah! Now he's flying.
So grateful right now. I feel like the reason basically we chose to do it for the charity Mind was because recently I had a lot of like, not a lot of problems, but definitely enough problems, and I had the luxury of having a therapist, but a lot of people obviously can't afford like therapy, so mine is just there to like help out and support for when you do need them. So I thought it'd be a really good cause to contribute this trip towards. But right now this is really helpful. This is amazing, honestly. I haven't stopped smiling really this whole trip. Like, it's just so much fun. Other than at the beginning, where it's obviously we had that incident, it's just been like incredible views. People have been great. It's just such a nice country. I'm just in awe. Especially now I have this top gear. I have a feeling this Pueblo is going to be really cool, man. What time?
So as we were cycling along, we stopped off in that town because we saw a little panaderia, which is a bakery. We're gonna get ourselves a nice pastry, fuel up, and then off we go again.
Can confirm the Pueblo was cool and the donuts were even better. We're at like 68 kilometers now left, so 32, 38 kilometers we've done. We then crossed an old bridge, rehydrated and filled up our water bottles before carrying on.
How are your knees? Yeah, they feel fine.
That's a big go. Oh yeah!
Stuck break.
At that last stop we had like 41 kilometers left, and we started off with 106 to go. Currently going through some like wineries. We were about to achieve one of our biggest legs on this trip, cycling 100 kilometers. Before this bike ride, neither me or my brother had cycled longer than 30 kilometers, so this was a pretty big achievement. Way! 100 kilometers!
Let's go!
We finally arrived to Aranda de Duero, so Danny did his daily maintenance to his bike and fixed an inner tube. We then headed out and ordered as much food as we could.
The plan for today is to head down to a place called Torre Caballeros. We are in Aranda de Duero. It's 94 kilometers, should take us about 5 hours maybe, cycle it. So I'll check in with you next on the road.
By far my favourite thing to come through are like the little pueblos. I just like, baffles me how simple life can actually be. But these people probably never move out of this place. We've got 60 kilometres left.
After cycling 36 kilometres, we found a snack spot at an old farm site.
I love cycling. I think it's my new favourite sport. I wonder whether the guy ever realised that his bike would be cycling across Spain. There must be something dead over there. There's like 10, 15, 20 vultures all circling an area.
At this point in the trip, it felt like every day was getting harder, so stops were becoming more frequent.
How far have we got?
24 kilometers.
24 kilometres. I need to start lifting my head up. Big castle. He looks cool.
Look at him. Look how small he looks. I'm going to put her on the side of the road so she doesn't die. Okay, I'm just going to try cycle with her. Don't fall off.
Whoa. Whoa. Did a big jump. Woo! 1 kilometre left. Ah.
And with this, we finally managed to get to Torre Caballero.
Let's go, bro.
Mate, it's that wind. It's actually a killer.
You know what I'm worried about?
What?
Tomorrow, heading to Madrid, there's mountains all around here. If we have to go up the mountains, we're so screwed.
Next time.
My knees are definitely screwed up.
My tyres are wearing down. I'm getting absolutely soaked.
Like and subscribe, and new videos every Saturday.